So many things that we have done have just been, like Andy said, a chain of events, or like a conversation that when you meet somebody for the first time and you start this conversation and you don't really know where it's going to go to. And I think that's a lot of what our path was like a conversation that would go in one direction, and then, you know, something would come along and we would say, okay, well, let's try this or try that, or, you know, and that's how we got into the wine business.
I had a degree in chemical engineering, and I worked in a company that made military devices in explosives and pyrotechnics and things like that. And that job ended. And so I thought I'd go to school and retrain myself for something that'd be more fun, which I figured that, you know, maybe the wine business might be a fun job compared to making things that blew up.
Right. I think it was better that I could drown in a vat of wine, maybe, but that'd be better than exploding someplace.
When I graduated from Davis, I got a job as a winemaker. And being a winemaker is a lot different than owning your own winery, see? So to get to that point, actually the guy who, out of the blue, an old friend that we became acquaintances when I was a student at Davis, he asked if I would make some wine for him to sell in his chain of stores, and also for him to, that other people who own some stores might be willing to do that. So I said, yes, I'll do this. Once the port wine started to sell, it looked like it was, you know, people were making repeat orders and such. So it would have been, I started thinking about how we might be able to make some more port. And for that, really, we needed a little winery. Fortunately, the guy who was my boss had a home here where he had his carport. He had done all the legality things you need to do to make your carport into basically a winery.
Maybe the biggest risk we took was we took all of our savings and we built this building, not this one we're in, but the little 40-foot square stucco building. And we bought some equipment, and we ran out of money before we had enough to buy the grapes that year. So we went to Bank of America, and fortunately they gave us a loan. And so I think that was one of the biggest risks that we went out on, because we had everything to make wine, but we didn't have any grapes. Yeah, so we built a little 40-foot square stucco building. That's all it was in the beginning. Had sort of corrugated paper walls on the inside, because that was about what we could afford. So we had all old equipment. We had a crusher from Valley Foundry that was built in the mid or late 40s, 1940s. And a press from another winery that was enlarging. So we had all this old equipment, and we just started off. So the two of us, nights, weekends. And Herb, our son, was about 3 or so at that point in time. And Allie was just born, and we used to put Herb in the gondola where we were pitchforking the grapes out of. And we had friends that came over with their little kids too. And so we had these 3 little kids in one corner of the gondola, playing and eating grapes and getting really messy. And we were pitchforking.
Yeah.
The very first year we had our pack press filtering unit. The owner and his son were there, and I got to work pretty much side by side with them. And so I thought that was a pretty memorable moment to be able to work with the owner and his son, and to see, that's part of what working at this winery is. You get to see the owner and see just the tight-knit group that we have.
Andrew Quady, and his wife, Laura, they're team players. That's one time when we were actually, I was filtering at night. I was just a temp at that time, and we were doing this infusion thing. They were actually here with us, hands-on. You don't get that anywhere else. Family.
I would say that the marketplace is where you measure your success if you're a business. We had sales, but I think we were making more wine than we were selling. In fact, we decided in 1980 to not make any port that year because we had plenty of port to sell. We had more than it would sell, and we made the Essencia. And then the Essencia was released in 81. And this is a lot of the success is possibly the label here, and which I had done by an artist friend I'd made who did some wine labels for wineries on the side. He was actually a restaurateur. The big thing was when important customers wanted to buy this wine and put it on their wine lists. There was no other substitute for a wine that would go with lots of different desserts like Essencia would.
Yeah, I think this was a time one of the big things was pairing the wine with the course and all of that. And so here, it was one of the first times we had a domestic sweet wine that was a fine wine.
I think one thing really unique about Quady is the style of varietals that they work with, that they produce here. The orange muscat that produces the Essencia produces about 5 or 6 different wines here. One grape can produce all different tastes, from the Essencia, the Electra, Red Electra, the Rosé, the Valles, the Deviation. That one grape produces so many different wines. It's amazing what our winemakers can do with that one grape.
I think what we make already is just unique in its own right. So that is always going to set us apart. There's not anyone that makes exactly what we make. We use unique muscat varietals that a lot of people don't use. A lot of it is only grown for us. So I think that alone could just set us apart. But like I said, I think the product is significantly different than anything else you're going to get.
You're really sort of held to a different standard here, and that's consistency. What never goes away is the desire to make a nice, balanced, refreshing wine, largely in the Moscatos, of course, and something that will appeal to customers, time after time, and they'll come back to it and enjoy it.
I think Muscat, being a white wine and being a sweet wine, can sometimes get overlooked on quality and taste, and normally it's just sweet, right? But I feel like what we do here is we really, really harness those flavors and the nose of the wine, and you just get a lot of different kinds of smells and fruits. And I think the taste is above other Muscats I've had. So there's a lot. I think that, and I just think we've been doing it for so long, Muscats, and so we just have it down and we know what we're doing. And I think that's why we come up with, to me, a superior product.
My favorite thing about doing tastings and events and getting to meet people who have never experienced our wines before, my favorite thing is to see the expression on their face when they try our wines for the first time. And I mean, they might not even be sweet wine drinkers, and we just say, give it a shot. You've never tried anything like this before, and it's true. And that's usually the feedback we get. And I love that.
A lot of people don't understand that they might see us as a small winery, but there's so many things happening here with so many people doing things, and everybody has, for one bottle being made, somebody has touched it along the line, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. How many hands that bottle, the grapes and all that, how much has been touched or handled in a manner so it can be out there in the stores and stuff like that, or in the restaurants.
We've been talking all about the wines that we make that we're proud of, but I think Andy and I, very, very frequently, every other day or something, we're talking about the people that we've gotten to work with here, the people that a lot of people who work with us have been here for many, many years. And we've had our oldest employee's been here for 40 years. 25 years, 20 years. And I don't know, I think that we've had the good fortune to have all these people working with us. I think that's been a whole lot of what's helped us succeed, and I think that's, I like to think that we've got a nice atmosphere, and that's why people have stayed with us. So I think I'm proud of that too, right?
Yep, we're very proud of that.
Tanya, Brandon, Alicia from back then, they were always concerned if the bottle didn't look good, if the label didn't look right, if the wine didn't smell right, and if something was going on or something was off, they would always bring it to my attention. Hey, something's wrong here. Our labels don't look right, you know, and then we'll stop. And it was nothing. We would never do something if it didn't look right. We have to stop and start over. And it didn't make a difference from the cellars to the bottling to harvest, whatever it was. We worked hard on it, and we tried to make sure it was going to be dealt with. And these people always were interested in letting us know what we need to do to make it better.
I love working here with all the people in tasting room, you know, and bottling here in cellars. I love working with everybody here. Everybody's super nice, super welcoming. Yeah, it's just a fun experience, you know, new experience, especially if you haven't been in this type of work, you know, in this field. It's very interesting job. Opens up your mind about the whole wine industry as well.
I definitely feel like the community here at Quady Winery is very welcoming and very warm. I feel like that bleeds into my performance here, especially with our club members. I mean, if you don't like where you work, it's really hard to keep up a strong face and being able to greet the customers every day. But I feel like because of our surroundings here, it's very easy to do that.
The culture here, it's very family oriented. Everyone's pretty close together. Everyone jokes around. It makes the work a lot less stressful.
I will be here 10 years in September, 10 years. Sometimes I think I've just been here for months, you know, but what kept me here is the family. I think everybody here is family.
I've been working at the winery for more than 2 decades, mainly because the people. The Quadys are amazing people. They created this company culture of, you know, allowing people to explore themselves and growth, you know, internal growth.
My favorite thing about Quady, aside from our amazing wines, are the people here. We have such a spirit of camaraderie and teamwork, and it doesn't matter what department someone is in. If you ask them for help, they stop what they're doing and they try to help you. And they try to help you problem solve and whatever you need. And I mean that all the way up to the Quadys themselves. The people here make it magical.
I've been with Quady Winery since 1999, and it's been 26 years of a lot of fun. There's been some good times and bad times and rough times, of course, but all in all, Quady is the best place. Everybody is so friendly, and I tend to say that it comes from the Quadys. The Quadys are so passionate about what they produce and what they feel about it, that it all trickles down to all of us.
If I had to describe the heart and soul of Quady Winery, it would be people. I mean, starting with Andy and Laurel, Allie and Herb, their kids, everybody's just great. Our admin, our tasting room staff, our production crew, everybody's just awesome. And last but not least, our customers. I think our customers are the best, and everything we do is for them.
I think just working with the people here, this is a very family-oriented winery. I mean, just like families, we always have, you know, butt heads, but at the end of the day, we're always there for each other, and be able to get the job done, be able to laugh, joke, you know, have, you know, barbecues every now and then here at the winery, and, you know, knowing that the wines that we are sending around the world are from our hands touching it. So it's been amazing.
Once you go to the store, you see the product, in the stores, and it's amazing. I was like, hey, we did this product. And then if I see a customer at the stores, I'm like, hey, this is a really good wine. I work in this Quady Winery, and it's amazing seeing people get the bottle and going out all over the world.
I actually take a lot of pride in our work and my work individually. So it's nice knowing that everyone likes our wine. So you should buy it.
The most rewarding thing about working here is all the awards we get. You know, especially recently with our saddle we just recently got. Very, what's the word? Very accomplishing, you know, seeing how everyone around the world loves our product. You know, it's very accomplishing. I love that, you know, seeing our rewards, seeing everything we get. It's very nice. Makes you feel good about yourself.
What's been especially rewarding is, you know, there's a lot of big wineries in this area and up and down the state, and I have a lot of friends who work at all manner of wineries, be they big or small. The most rewarding thing has been it's nice to be at a place where the name is associated with such a unique style, and Andrew Quady himself he's a character, and he's been rightfully recognized for having the courage really to swim upstream. I think he'd like the fishing metaphor, but nobody would have thought this was completely opposite what wineries were doing at the time when he started it, and for it to have survived this long and thrived and put all kinds of new products all over the map is really something.
Celebrating 50 years is amazing. You know, I think it's half of the businesses that ever start up are not around after 5 years, and then only 20% remain after 20 years. So being a part of something that's here after 50 years is truly, it's an honor to be here. And it's amazing. I can't wait to see where the next 50 go.
It's a good place to start, and it's a good place to end up. If you've been to other wineries, we make very unique products here, and there's only one place to get them, and that's here.
It's challenging, but the adventure there, it's great.
And I couldn't have done it without her. So she is like the indispensable second half.